All right, my name is Nick Skellinger, and this is the iBook that I created. What this is um, it's a file I can send to students in my class, and they can open it up in iBooks, and it serves several purposes. So it's an online textbook. Well, it's not online; it's on their computer, but it has all the instruction, at least the basics, the kind of notes that they might take in class, and they can reference that and when they're doing their assignments, which some of those are built in to the book itself. And so, if as often happens in my class, students maybe aren't there, I can email them and say, okay, well, today we did pages 6 and 7. Do the assignment on page 8, something like that. So it has instruction and assessments built into it. Now this is a new tool I started using this year as all our students went one-to-one. So I'm going to kind of take you through a little bit of it and what it is. Now I also just started using this tool, so at the beginning of the book you can kind of see the progress I made as I was creating it. So this is the first page. And we begin with types of sentences. I start with this because it's somewhat simple, at least in the beginning, so they can focus on learning the technology piece of it. What I thought was interesting is that a lot of kids aren't as familiar with computers and operating systems because a lot of them grew up on phones and tablets. So it does take a bit of getting used to. So we go over the types of sentences here, and it says, what are the 4 types of sentences? And there's a little instructions that you can highlight this, highlight this and answer the question in a note. And so what that means, and one of the really cool study tools that's built into this iBook, is that if you highlight something, then you get some options here. You can just highlight it in a different color. Anytime you highlight something, you're going to make a note, and I've already done that here, and so I've answered this question in the notes. And then what students can do is if they click on their one of the study tools here, they can click study here, and then everything they've highlighted or made a note of, like this, they've created little flashcards, and they're right in there. Now this tool also has all of the glossary terms. Oops, I've highlighted a few things here. So if they forget they can study what a subordinate clause is here, and it's a definition on the other side. And if they hit escape, that'll close full screen. Oops. All right, so then I'll take you through some of the pages here. It has instruction on sentences. What are the sentences? What is a simple sentence? Again, this is in red because when I'm giving the instruction, they can highlight it and add a note. And they can answer here. And when they click off of it, there's a little note here, and so they can also see the notes that they've created, but not in a way that blocks the instruction. Another interesting part of this is if I've added glossary terms, like for sentence, anything that's in bold is a glossary term, and it'll give a definition. And if they're not happy with the definition I've provided, there's also a link to a dictionary definition. And if I've forgotten to create a definition for a word, like let's say a command, well, what's a command? If they highlight it, double click it, they'll get the different dictionary definition right there. It also has links to Wikipedia. So then we go over subject and verb, and I'm not going to take you through all the instruction, but just some of the pieces for this course that are important. So after they talk about simple sentences, independent clauses, there's some of these neat little tools in the iBook where you can show a picture here, and you can maybe have a couple pictures. So they can slide through that and study a bit. And then there's also these built-in reviews, which is really nice because I've had in class where I will tell them, okay, I want you to do review 1.1, and then I'm going to come around and see how you guys did. I don't always grade these, but this is kind of my formative assessment to see where they're at. And then let's say they answer, they can check it. Oops, that's not the right one. And then they can keep checking here until they get it right. Another little, I've tried to get creative with the types of assessments I did, so I gave some instructions on an assignment here. Well, this was an assignment, sorry. This was directions to help them understand the notes. So they can highlight parts of a sentence and then make a note whether it's dependent or independent. And then I like this little scroll feature here. You can create a little box so they can scroll down, and I've kind of hidden the answers, but they're also there for them because this is an assessment I'm grading. It's just for them to study. And so we kind of move into what the sentences are. And again, I use the scroll bar to show them some examples. And then this is instructional pieces of going over each of these. And I do have paper copies of PowerPoints, the notes, and some assignments that go along with this. And I didn't embed those into this assignment because I didn't think that starting off the unit with completely on the computer assignments was appropriate. I wanted them to get used to the technology first. And I like that in this textbook you can create the visuals you want with changing the color, having these little word bubbles. And then there's another little assessment. Then we move into punctuation. And in this part we go over how to use apostrophes. Again, I've used some of the scrolling tools for just examples. And another little formative assessment piece here. And another one with a review. And a little bit of a summary at the end of this one. And there was a little bit more information in this section, so I thought maybe a summary would be nice. Commas, I like this little tool here. It's supposed to tell them, when you see this icon, click on it, and then some information pops up. And so I use that instead of the scrolling bars as before. I use this one to give examples here. Go over the ways to use commas. And you can also embed little videos. I thought this one was funny, where it talks about how a humorous little video of how punctuation saves lives. I won't make you watch the whole thing, but in the end it's let's eat grandpa, and you've probably seen this example where you put the comma matters. If they say put the comma, if they don't have a comma in there, let's eat grandpa, and everyone starts eating grandpa. I think it's important to have a little bit of humor in this unit, which can be kind of dull, but it turns out a lot of high schoolers really need the reminders. So here's where I started kind of getting used to the tool and being able to embed assignments in here in a little bit of a different way. And so I can kind of come around and check. They're supposed to highlight the sentence in red if it's an example of comma splicing, and highlight in green if it's a complete sentence and punctuated well. And then I like the way these turned out, where they've got instructions on the left side here, and with this tool they can't write in the book, but they can make notes, and that's kind of one way of writing in there. So I can check it that way. Oops, and this one didn't finish getting the instructions in this one, but it's similar to the previous one. So that's pretty much the iBook, and again, it's assessments embedded right into the instruction.